I'm Ayla.
Hi, I'm Beth Ann.
And this is Let's Talk BL, a boys love podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. It is Sunday, Series Sunday, the day of the week where we talk all about one series and one series only, chock full of spoilers. Well, actually, this week we're talking episodes of a series.
Two series and two series only. I mean, they're basically like mini series within a series.
Yeah.
It's like a compilation series, similar to War of Y, right?
Yes.
Like if you watched War of Y, there were like different story situations. Right. That's what's happening here. And when I tell you we picked two for this week, because there was no way we possibly could talk about all of them.
No.
But the two that we picked this week are...
What do?
If you're listening, Tigger has joined the podcast. Tigger, I know I told you could come back at any time. This is not what I meant.
Why is he
Tigger. Oh, okay. That feels right. Okay.
That's really funny.
What I was going to say before Tigger so rudely interrupted me was that this is genuinely full of spoilers that I wouldn't want if I were going to rewatch this series for the first time. I had never seen it again.
Yeah.
The advice I would give myself is don't get spoiled. So if you have not watched these chunks of my universe,
Right.
turn back now.
Please.
Don't let yourself get spoiled. Honestly, you have to experience
This
these.
series, these episodes are so... Honestly, okay, we're only talking about two stories within this whole compilation, but I highly suggest going to watch all the stories. Come and go as you please, which is really nice because I have watched a couple of them within this whole thing.
Oh yeah, I've watched them out of order, partially because I thought I was watching a certain story, and then it turned out I wasn't, but then I was already invested.
But they are so good. Like, I came out of one of the ones that we're not going to talk about. I came out of it and like truly thought about it for like the entire next day. I was like, oh my gosh, they're so good.
We are talking about my universe. We are talking about two stories. One is called My Soulmate, and the second is called Campfire. So we're going to start with My Soulmate because it comes first if you're going in quintessential order.
Yes. This is on IG. And the first one, do you want to talk about it like individually?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one we're going to start with is episodes 7 and 8. It stars as Corn, our sweet Mick. Shout out Mick. If you have not watched La Cuisine, please go watch it.
Yes.
Watch our interview with Mick and Pop. And then go watch.
And go enjoy. Mick also makes an appearance in one of our Thailand vlogs from the first time we went to Thailand, from the first LTB on location chunk.
So good. Friend of the podcast, Mick.
Yeah. I also genuinely do recommend watching La Cuisine before you watch My Soulmate because this is a departure for Mick.
Truly.
I'm excited to get into it. Anyways.
He kills it. And then we have as Bud, I think is how they say it in the show, Top. Mick and Top are a new ship. And they are continuing to do work together. And I'm very excited about it because they have excellent chemistry.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. So knowing Mick and having interviewed Mick and Pop and have Pop, by the way, if you are watching Pit Babe.
Killing it.
Yeah, Pop is winner, champion. Something about being a victor. I always forget his name. I'm always like, it's Pop. Oh,
he's on the red team. He plays the rival.
He's the main red.
I think
red
winner.
King. Is it winner? I think it's winner. Anyways,
continue.
Pop, Pit Babe. He's the one that like drag races. He drifts against Pavel in the beginning. So, I watched La Cuisine and loved La Cuisine. Interviewed Pop and Mick. Mick is amazing. Knowing Mick. When this got announced, I was confused. I'm not going to lie to you. And I didn't say anything to anybody because, of course, like, we support Mick under all circumstances.
Yes.
But I was like, I was hesitant.
Winner.
I was right, yeah.
Yeah.
I was hesitant. And also...
And that's happened before. There are times where boys get paired and we're like...
Sia and Copter.
I don't see it.
When Sia and Copter got announced for La Pluie, I was quite confused.
Listen, and this is all to say that Sia could literally act with Wall.
Sia could and has acted with a bush before. There's really funny pictures from You're My Sky era. So like literally this man has chemistry with a bush.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we didn't get it.
With Mick and Top, I was a little bit confused, and then I like heard the character that Mick was playing, and I was extra confused because between Luke Chube in La Cuisine and then Mick as a person, like as the real life boy that Mick is, I was like, he's doing what now? And then I watched these episodes because, like, you know, we support even if we're unsure.
Confused, yes.
And I was like, my God, this is so good. Genuinely. And I'm not just saying that to, like, I don't know, blow smoke up anybody's ass. Genuinely so good.
But Mick also deserves all the smoke up all his ass.
What if we don't say that?
It's BL. We can say whatever we want. Okay, read the synopsis.
Top is fantastic, too. But anyways, new ship. Highly confused about this ship. Before we get into the story in which they killed it, here is the synopsis.
Love it.
You are my soulmate. By the way, the UL is in parentheses on soul, which is quite confusing. It doesn't make any sense to me. You are my soulmate.
Is so something in Thai?
Chain. So means chain.
So I guess, like, he's chained to him?
That actually just makes sense, actually. Okay. You're my chain. Okay, yeah. I see it now. Okay.
Your chain mate?
Yeah, you're like, I'm chained to you, whatever. Yeah. I get it. Okay. Bud grows up in a family believing in the mystical. They believe that should you unexpectedly meet someone 3 times in your life, that person is your soulmate. However, Bud already secretly has Corn in his heart, and he therefore searches for a way to make Corn become his soulmate, whether by chance or manipulation.
Solid.
10 out of 10. Okay, first thing I'll say, if you're a Bright One fan.
I was going to say, yeah, this gives me big Together vibes.
If you like Together, if you are a Bright One fan, if you like that whole dynamic, you are going to dig this. Literally, you know how Together opens with Tyne? That's basically what happens in You're My Soulmate.
Yeah, they have that side character
who's just like super into Bud and is like actively searching him down. This was the part I was kind of confused about because like he can't coincidentally meet him if this boy is searching for him. Right. So, like, you're good, Bud. If he chases you down, like, it's not a third meeting. So, basically what happens is Bud has met this boy that he doesn't like twice. And so he's on, like, time number 3 where, like, his mom, who's a mystic, has said, this is going to be your soulmate. And he's, like, actively trying to avoid this boy because he's, like, not into him. Right. And his sweet little friend.
Big green vibes.
Yeah. And his sweet little friend is like, I got you. But then there's, like, a really... So the way that Mick and... Or that... you know, Mick and Top. The way that Corn and Bud meet is that Bud is running away from this other boy because his friend is, like... on the phone with him, and this boy is literally bribing her. Yeah. Like, he's giving her money, and she's like, she's on the phone with him, and she just goes, I'm telling you, run right now. And then she points him out so that she can get the money, right? And as he's running, he bumps into Corn, and that's their first, like, coincidence meeting.
It's so cute.
And it's so cute. Like, from the time they, like... touch and look into each other's eyes. I was sold on the ship. I was like, yeah, okay.
There's something, and I've said this before, there's something about a boy making eye contact with another boy that you're like, that's where the chemistry is. Like, there are so many times where people do ship work and people are like, get you somebody who looks at you the way this person. And I'm like, y'all, they're literally just making eye contact. He's like looking at him. And I guess in a world where, like, a lot of times men are just so, like, airheaded and, like, don't acknowledge the world around them, right? Like, they're just kind of, like, fluttering through life to be, like, looked at and admired.
Well, it's anyone. That's like a psychology thing, right? Like, they teach you this in business, which is, like, if you want to make an impression in a meeting, whatever, make eye contact with each of the people you're speaking to, like, in the meeting, is because, like, it is uncommon because humans naturally are, like, uncomfortable by eye contact. It feels like intimate in some way. So, like,
so intimate.
Yeah, I don't think it's, like, that men themselves are, like, airheaded, although, like... True. Men are garbage 2023. But I think it's like all humans. Like, there is something like that's just a psychology thing.
That makes sense. But yes, they're meet cute. I was hoping for a fall kiss. Did not happen.
No fall kiss. Although we do have one of my favorite scenes in the show is when they're in the bathroom. So
oh my god!
At one point, Corn. So it's Bud's birthday.
It's
and
very
Corn,
physical humor too, and it is fun to watch these boys do this because they really commit.
It's so slapstick. It's really funny.
It's slapstick without being
so
cringy or corny.
Yeah, this show is really funny, but also so sweet. Yeah. So like, there's a scene where it's Bud's birthday, and Corn brings him a gift from their friend. They have a mutual friend, but really, you find out that like Corn just wanted to see him. You find out later on that Corn has a crush on Bud. Oh my god, it's so cute. I'm gonna cry.
And it's just a highlighter.
And it's a highlighter, cute. And it's just an orange highlighter. I will forever remember it's an orange highlighter. It's so cute. And he brings it. He's like, "Hey, this is from our friend." Yeah. But then the boy that Bud is trying to avoid is also there. Yes. So Bud just like grabs Corn and like shoves him in the bathroom. And they have this whole like cute scene in the bathroom. Oh my god, it's so funny and sweet. And in that moment, you don't yet know that Corn has a crush on Bud, but I was like, I think he likes him. I think he likes him.
This is another situation where a great example that you don't need NC scenes for intimacy. Yeah. You can have intimacy and like interesting characters in relationship without them like licking each other. Well, because that's what it is these days.
These two boys are really interesting to watch act because like Top is very naturally funny. Like he's very like physically funny, just in like the way he moves his body, or he can like turn his head a certain way, and it's like he does a great job with that. Like he's got great physicality as an actor.
Interesting to watch for sure.
And Mick is such a great actor.
He's just so cool.
He's a very cool boy. But this is something that I didn't really like think about when I was watching La Cuisine, and I didn't think about it until I was like trying to get ready for this series Sunday, and I was like, I rewatched these episodes, and I went back and watched like a few scenes in La Cuisine to see if he did it in La Cuisine, and I just didn't remember, and he totally does. So Mick is interesting. I talk a lot about how Suya acts with his eyes, right? Mick is interesting because Mick acts with his like expressions,
with his eyebrows.
Kind of, but not really. Like it's not his eyebrows. It's kind of like he changes his whole face, and like not in like an overt way, but enough to like you get the feeling and you know what he's like kind of thinking and feeling. And that's why I say like in that bathroom, that's when I was like, ooh, he likes him. But in that whole scene, Corn has like almost no dialogue.
No.
And so you know what...
Because Bud has his hand on his mouth almost the whole time.
Right, because he's like, don't speak, don't speak. Right. And so you can only see like parts of his face, and like you can tell kind of what he's thinking and feeling just from that. And I was like, ooh, that's subtle and that's cool. Shout out Mick. That's cool, Mick.
It's so good.
Gang mock Mick.
It's so fun. The other thing about these episodes too is it's so Thai. And here's the thing. There are series that I have watched that are so Thai, and I'm like, I don't get it. And I don't think a lot of people get it. But then there's Thai stuff that you watch and you're like, oh, this is really interesting and fun to like learn about a culture and find, and like, and you really feel like you're escaping from your own Western life into like this other culture, but like you feel like you get it. And in this one, I feel like they explain everything with the whole like soulmate thing. Like it's very cute, but it's very based in like a very Thai, like you have the university and you have the like the mystical stuff and all that, and it's just over the top Thai, but like it's interesting to watch and like you get it. Yeah. Some of the Thai I feel like I'm like, this feels so foreign to me, like I just can't get it, and this like I got it.
Yeah, the one series I can think of that's like was a little bit like over my head in terms of like I'm just not culturally plugged in enough to understand it was Bomtar.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of that series.
It was because I really like Bomb and Tar. I really like Tar.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole show, but I was like, I don't think culturally I'm really understanding everything I'm watching. Anyways, I agree. Another thing I loved about this, I will knock you. That's right. Another thing I loved about You Are My Soulmate is that I really like how the whole time Bud thinks he's setting up for them to meet. and like tricking his way into becoming soulmates with Korn.
Right.
But it's like he's already gonna be his soulmate because Korn has been setting up opportunities for himself to run into Bud the whole time. And so between the two of them, it's this like funny thing where like they keep crossing wires because they're both trying to set it up where they can both run into each other, which is like very cute and funny and like such a boy thing to do.
Yeah.
I love the roommate situation. I'm obsessed with the roommate situation. They have a very like small window of misunderstanding where Korn thinks that Bud is dating their friend, and he's like, "How dare you?" His
like friend's little brother, right? It's like a family member or something.
Yeah, and he's like very hurt, but like at this point they already live together, and so it's like weird.
I love the tropes in this. Truly, the idea that like this boy, that Korn is hanging all over this boy, and he's like, oh, he's clearly
dating him.
It's so BL trope, and I'm obsessed with it.
But I love that they have to be roommates, and like it's set up from the beginning very cleverly, where we find out that Korn has been having a hard time, or sorry, Bud has been having a hard time paying his rent, and that's why like his friend, when she took the money from the other boy, was like, I paid your rent, hey, right? Like but then finally like a dorm becomes available, and it turns out it's because Korn has like basically like his roommate at the time was like spends a lot of time with his girlfriend, whatever, ended up moving out, so the dorm that became available,
obviously,
who would have thought, is Korn's dorm, and Bud moves in, and then and then they kiss.
And it is funny because
it's really cute.
When he moves in, they're like feuding kind of.
Right, because Korn thinks that Bud is dating this other boy.
Right. And so it's just
this is when it gets really cute, because this is when Bud realizes that Korn just gave him one of his highlighters because he just wanted to see him. And it's so cute. It's just so cute. It's just so cute.
I'm so excited for these two they immediately have another series.
They do.
And you should absolutely go watch the like 10-minute pilot trailer.
It's a pilot. It's similar to what we got for Venus in the Sky, but like not the same genre. But like in the sense that like we got like a very long,
it's like storytelling, and that's what
it's like a time travel situation, or not time travel, but like reality jumper. Yeah, it's like a reality jumping situation. It looks so cool.
So cool.
I'm obsessed.
I'm so excited. I know we finished watching these, and like again, as we said, we support Mick. We love everything that Mick does.
But I'm also not just saying this so that you'll support Mick.
No, but then we watch this show because that's the thing. You have your favorite actors. Shout out Longley, who does things, and you're like, I will watch. I had actors like that in like Western, like John Krasinski. I've watched literally everything he's done, and he has done some really, really bad stuff.
Yeah, Josh Hutcherson is mine. I think you know about this. Yeah. I love Josh Hutcherson, since, by the way, TikTok before it was fucking cool to like Josh Hutcherson. Thank you. I have loved Josh Hutcherson since I was 12 years old.
I was going to say, since you were a child.
I have literally loved Josh Hutcherson since I was 12 years old. We're similar in age, and so like because of the movies he did were always like age appropriate for me. Yeah. I kind of like, I saw Cute Boy, like Cute Boy, and then Cute Boy kept doing Cute Boy things that were age appropriate for me, so it was like perfect. I have been obsessed with him. I have seen literally everything he's done, and I went so far as I have purchased literally everything he's ever done. Like I own it all on DVD, like every single. And there were some that I had to like hunt down and like get on eBay, and like down to like he did this movie. He had like a bit part in this movie with Will Ferrell called Kicking and Screaming. Yeah, that's the one that took me the longest to track down, but I finally got it.
Random fun fact, I saw Will Ferrell on David Letterman. Like I was in the audience for Will Ferrell and David Letterman for Kicking and Screaming. We were walking down the street in New York City, and they were like, hey, do you want to come to a taping? It was like a Friday.
You were an adult when that movie came out?
I was in college. They were filming 2 episodes of the Letterman show that day.
I was still a kid when that came out.
Yeah, and they were like, hey, do you want to come to a taping? And we were like, sure. And so they like interviewed us, and then they were like, we'll call you back. And then like, yeah, we got to see. Will Ferrell.
But yes, Josh Hutcherson is mine. I have not only seen everything he's ever done, including the like weird experimental indie films.
Yeah.
But I've also purchased all of them. Like I own hard copies of all of them.
That's fantastic. Yeah. In the comments, tell us who is the actor or actors that you have literally suffered or enjoyably watched everything. All that to say is
I had a couple of suffering moments for Josh Hutcherson. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, he's a perfect angel, but
all that to say, it's even better when you are watching something to support an actor and then it's
good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think we should then go on to the next.
Yes.
Because again,
there's a tone shift for the next one we're going to,
but not so much in that we're obsessed with these two actors.
This is right. No, I mean the series itself is a tone. Tone departure.
We would also blindly support anything that counted. Yes.
So the next one we're talking is Campfire.
Yes. It's on IG. This is episode 11 and 12. And it stars as Tale Kauna and as Camp Turbo. The Kauna Turbo.
We recently talked about this on last week's series Sunday. To me, and I don't care what logic and reality says. Listen, Delulu is the Solulu. Yes. To me, in my Delulu mind, Kauna and Turbo are the two most famous people in BL. They're the two most famous people in Thailand. In my heart, this is true.
They're the most famous in my heart.
To me, Kauna and Turbo are like the pinnacle of like acting and like of idol boys. Like my brain melts. I had the amazing opportunity to interact with them once and then go see them perform twice. And every single time my brain just basically melted out of my ears and I became like a bumbling mess.
Truly, I mean, everyone knows our love for Atlas. I would say that we acted as insane at a Kauna Turbo performance that we do at Atlas.
I feel like I'm more put together for Atlas. That's
true.
Like the thing about Atlas is that there's like 7 of them, so like there's a lot happening.
There's a lot happening
all at once.
Kauna Turbo is just 2.
With Kauna Turbo, it's very intense, and also again to me in my brain they are so famous. Versus like I've loved Atlas since Lole, which was their second single, which like. They weren't super famous at that point. Right. So to me, Atlas are like on their come up, even though I understand they're like super famous. In my brain, it's like Atlas are like coming up.
Yeah.
But to me, in my brain, Kauna Turbo are like, I don't know. Who's the most, who would you say is the most famous person in the West?
Tom Cruise?
Brad Pitt? Maybe like 20 years ago.
But like somebody
like
that
currently,
everybody
like
knows.
Beyonce.
Oh, yeah. Or like Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Yeah, like Beyonce or Taylor Swift.
Because I think of famous as like every generation.
Yeah, Gen Z does not know who Tom Cruise is. I guarantee it.
Oh, they absolutely have to.
They don't.
At least from their parents.
No. And they only know who Brad Pitt is because his daughter just canceled him. You didn't hear about this?
No, I didn't.
She went to college and they
Which daughter?
Zahara.
Okay.
And she rushed a sorority and they TikToked her like rush and she introduced her. Was it Zahara? Anyway, she introduced herself with her last name was only Jolie, not Pitt, and it was like a huge like.
Oh yeah, because like.
Story.
Yeah, all the kids got taken away from him.
No, they didn't get taken away from him. They just all hate him. But like legally, he didn't like lose custody or anything. But there was like a big custody battle. Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyways, that's the only reason people know who he is now.
I see,
is because he recently got canceled. But like, yeah, like Beyonce or Taylor Swift, that is who Kauna Turbo is to me in my brain. Truly, like that's just how I perceive them.
I will say that performance that Kauna Turbo did at Idol Exchange was a full Beyonce moment for Kauna.
Yeah, so once we got to see Kauna and Turbo at Idol Exchange.
Do you know what we never looked up is the fan cam of that?
And we were in the front row, as one does. And at one, and so they're on stage and they're singing. They're like looking at us because like Kauna genuinely thinks it's funny the way we react to him.
Because we were front row, and
this was the second time we saw them in one day. By the way,
yeah,
this was the second time we saw them in one day, and we're in the front row, and the Tarn type theme song starts playing, and I
love the Kauna version of
it's so good.
Tarn type, yeah. So good.
I personally, you were a little cooler than I was, but I literally had a physical reaction to it. Like, I started physically breaking down, and he saw me, and this man gained so much power in that moment. So much power. And he immediately began singing directly to me, which then made it worse.
That's fantastic.
Oh my God. Yeah, Beyonce. Kauna is Beyonce always. Kauna is Beyonce always. Anyways, Counter Turbo.
You should read the synopsis. These 2 episodes even more so put them on the pedestal that is.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Okay. The campfire. Fate plays a joke on Camp when he re-encounters Talay, a hot senior he has a history with at a haunted campground.
Okay, if you have not watched these episodes, stop this now.
Turn back now. Truly.
Oh my God.
I honestly, okay, listen, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything, but like normally I can figure out the twist. Yeah. Like normally I'm pretty good at like.
No clue. She had no clue.
I was so shook. Both times. There's 2 twists.
Okay, so going into this, we get a tiny little trailer, and I was like, oh my God, it's scary. It's going to be horror.
It is spooky. Okay, it's all the way up spooky. Until the end when you realize it's not actually spooky. The whole thing was a lie. Listen, if you're one of those people that hated the ending of Lovely Rider because you're like, it was all a lie, maybe don't watch this one. I don't know. Like, okay, let's go through it. Let's go through what happens. Let's go through it.
Truly, I even to this day, I'm like, I don't understand what happened.
Honestly, this whole thing was outstanding.
It was like a story within a story within a story.
Okay.
Killed it.
So.
They killed it.
Okay, let's just go through it scene by scene.
Counter Turbo. Perfect.
I mean, Count it is Beyonce always.
Okay. Here's my question. I still don't understand. Was any part of the beginning real?
No, it was all a dream. No, it wasn't a dream, but it was a part of the film. Acting. Yeah.
They are actors. Oh. Okay. So
they're acting? Okay.
So it starts. Turbo Camp shows up at this campsite. And he's like on the phone with his friends and he's like, where are you guys? And they're like, we can't make it, but Talay will be there. And
no, he doesn't know Talay will be there.
That's right.
They're like, we can't make it. And he's like, what the hell, you guys? And
they have like a group project or something they're doing?
He's like, we had a reservation.
They're just camping.
Yeah. He's like, we had a reservation. I brought the tent, all this stuff. He's like, now I'm alone. And he's like on the phone and annoyed. And he walks down this dock and then
Talay shows
he
up.
runs into Beyonce. AKA Kauna. And then we realize they're beefing.
And we don't know why. But
they still decide to camp together because
obviously
Talay's friends have also ditched him. / Talay is just there by himself because he's like, cool boy.
Right.
Unclear.
So then begins this tumultuous like back and forth of like, you can tell they hate each other, but you can tell they also really love each other.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those like homoerotic things where like boys fight and like they're fighting, but like it's erotic.
But they really want to kiss.
Yeah.
And come to find out that Camp was in love with Talay.
Camp had a crush on Talay.
But Talay...
No. Backtrack. No, actually, you're skipping a part. Camp did like Talay. But like only over like Tinder. Anyways, we'll get to that. What first happens?
Oh my God, there's a whole other.
Yes, there's a whole middle part. Okay, so it turns out they went to college together.
Yes,
they're adults. They're whole adults in this.
They were friends freshman year.
They were like in the same faculty.
Yes,
and
there was a girl.
We see in the flashback that Talay always had a crush on Camp.
Yes.
Talay has always liked Camp because at one point they get stuck in like a storage room together and yes. Talay is like, whatever, like clearly super into Camp. But Camp has a crush on their mutual friend who's a girl. Right. And Camp goes to like tell the girl he likes her and is like Ben Fangana. And she's like, nah, I like this other person. And it turns out the other person she likes is Talay.
Yes.
And so then Talay... Camp thinks that Talay and this girl are dating.
Right.
But they're not.
No.
What happens is they go to this party. You find out later. So like that's all we know. Actually, wait. I'm not gonna get to the next part yet. That's all we know is that Talay like Camp, Camp like girl, girl like Talay.
Yes. Also, back up. When Talay and Camp first meet at the campsite, Camp has been chatting with this person on the internet. And he's like, I'm at this campsite. I'm doing this thing. And he's like, they're meeting up at this campsite. That's what it was. They were meeting up at the campsite. And he's like, where are you? And they have this moment on that dock where he's like, okay, I'm here. I'm on the dock. And he's like, me too. Or like he hears
and it turns out it's Talay.
And it's the two of
so
them.
Talay and Camp have been grindering each other.
Yeah,
this whole time.
This isn't like friendly texting. This is like I want to bang you.
They met on Grindr.
Yeah.
They met on Grindr. Like that's the situation here, and they like admit that and talk about that. Yeah.
So that's the other underlying like homoeroticism is that like they want to bang each other, but they have this huge history of like
and like the whole and at first it was confusing because it was like, wait, did Talay know it was Camp, but Camp didn't know it was Talay? No, they both knew it was each other the whole time.
Yes,
and so they meet up, whatever they're camping, and Sweet Camp is taking a nap with the smallest blanket in existence, the tiniest little baby blanket
on a chair.
Yeah, hilarious. And so the whole time, Camp keeps asking Talay, like, how's this girl? Like, what about this girl?
Yeah,
like
the girl.
He keeps referencing back to this girl. And then fast forward, then we start being haunted.
Yes.
The haunting begins. We're sleeping in tents.
It's a girl.
Camp doesn't know how to pitch a tent. And so
this girl is homophobic.
Talay has to pitch. I mean, basically, yeah, dude, she is. And no, she really is. And she fully like admits it later. We'll explain. And so like, it's honestly like a hate crime. Like it's a hate haunting.
I mean, I too, if
hold on, we'll get to it. Then you can make your joke. I know what joke you're gonna make. I'll ping you.
Okay.
I'll let you know when to make it. Okay. So basically, Talay has to pitch Camp's tent for him. I'm being literal.
Why are there no more campy BLs? That's the gayest thing.
Side note, who pitches the tent in the Atlas One Day music video? Who's pitching tent in that? It's me. I'm pitching tent in that.
I think there's a throuple pitching a tent.
No, it's me. Okay. Basically, nighttime comes. Evening falls.
The tent is not pitched.
And the tent is wilting. And then
only Kauna has pitched his tent.
And Talay is like gets spooked or not Talay. Camp gets spooked because he hears something in the woods, and so he has to go run into Talay's tent. And Talay is like, I guess you can sleep in here. And then they have to go shower because of course they do.
Obviously.
And first of all, I'm very concerned.
It's like Big Tale of 1,000 Stars situation.
But I'm very concerned about the whole like campground shower situation in Thailand, because in America we also have campground showers, but they're like, listen, they're not the best. Like you might run into like a scorpion or two, at least in Texas. Mm-hmm. Like last time my family went camping, my dad fully got like stung by a scorpion.
I don't camp. I don't even
I really
glamp.
enjoy camping.
I hate camping.
Me and my friends used to do that like in college for fun. We would like go to the state park for the weekend and be like, bye, camping.
Yeah, I went to college in the mountains and we went camping once and I was like, okay.
And then we would like get up to shenanigans.
Cute.
Yeah.
Nothing. I like hotels.
Anyways, showers at the state parks in America and the national parks in America, nothing like Thailand. There's literally like there's not running water. It's a bucket. And I've learned about this bucket. It has a specific name. I learned about it in Thai class. Don't remember the name. Because I was like, I'm never going to need to know that.
Yeah, because in Tale of 1,000 Stars, they shower this way too. Mm-hmm. Cute.
Anyways, they have to shower. They're both being haunted. We see Ghost Girl, and we're like, what the hell? And so then they go back. They're sleeping in the tent. And this is when she gets real. They're, like, laying, being very cute. And, like, you know, they have to, like, cuddle against you, you know, for, like, protection and stuff like that. Yeah. And you see the, like, zipper of the tent open. And you see Ghosty Girl looking in. And it's legitimately scary. And she's legitimately haunting them. Like, they are being legit haunted. This all has happened in the first episode.
Yeah.
Flash forward, intense. Second episode. More haunting occurs. There's a scene where they're like sleeping in the tent and the girl is like sleeping behind them and she like has her arm around Turbo, which like, listen girl, like Couch I get you. Like I too would like seize my opportunity to wrap my arms around Turbo.
Which means Kauna has to cuddle him.
Right, of course. They must be cuddled. So anyways, the next day they're out, they're chilling, they're chit-chatting. And finally he's like, Talay is like, you keep asking me about this girl. Do you not know? Like, what? Like, you don't know? Because because Camp says something about, like, let's just call her. Like, where has she been? Or something like that. And Tilly is like, wait, you don't know?
Right.
And then...
he doesn't know.
We get a flashback. We get a Tilly flashback. And this is when we understand that this girl is a homophobic ghost. No, it really is.
She drowned... on like a little trip.
No, she didn't drown. She literally, trigger warning, commits suicide.
I mean, I too.
So what happened is they're having like an end of semester or like an end of college graduation, whatever party at this campground or like meetup or whatever.
Right.
And she finally tells Talay, because remember, Talay like camp like girl like Talay.
Yeah.
Girl is telling Talay, hey, I like you, Benfangana. And he's like, no, I'm sorry. I'm into someone else. And she's like, who do you like? And he tells her it's Camp. He's like, I'm into Camp. And she's
I too would then go throw myself in a lake.
She literally throws herself in the lake and like drowns herself.
Cow Jai girl.
Because Beyonce has rejected her for another man.
I get it. I fully get it.
And so then when they both show up at the site of her death, she's like,
oh hell no.
And she fully is trying to hate crime them.
She really is.
And she legitimately hate crimes them because a bunch of stuff happens. And then literally there have been very few moments in BLs when I have reacted this way. She haunts them in the shower again. Again, like Couch Eye Girl, I get you. If I had the opportunity to be spying. Yes.
No, rewind. She haunts them at the lake and she pushes Camp into the lake and tries to drown him.
She tries to murder him unsuccessfly. But then, fast forward, we're showering.
Yes.
And it gets super spooky.
The water turns to blood. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's wild. Okay. It's like a plague has befallen us. Okay. And Moses is here. It's a whole thing. And then they finally get out of the showers because they're in separate stalls. They come out of the showers and Ghosty Girl grabs Camp and like has her arm around him. And she literally yells at Beyonce, if I can't have you, no one can, or like something like that. And she snaps his neck. And I lost my mind. And at this point, Beyonce is sobbing. Talay, Kauna, sobbing.
They're giving an Oscar-worthy performance.
I was shook. I was like, oh my God.
Kauna immediately EGOT'd for this performance.
A true EGOT. What's above an EGOT? Can you like he EGOT Asia Award.
And you get a BAFTA.
He EGOT BAFTA Asia awarded it. Like he immediately won every acting award that exists. And then someone yells cut.
And we both looked at each other.
And Turbo stands up. Camp stands up. And I was like,
cool, chill.
And then there's a secondary story. It's not even over yet.
No.
And then
they're covered in blood.
They're covered in blood. And they're like watching the stars together. Maybe that's why Tigger like popped on this episode earlier, because the song that was playing was Shooting Star, which is like very much the like moment they were having.
It really was.
Yeah. So maybe like somebody should make edit of Counter Turbo to Shooting Star.
I don't know how
make edits.
You
should do that.
I don't know how people make edits, but I would love to be able to sometimes, because this would be perfect.
Somebody should make a Counter Turbo Shooting Star edit, because there's a scene where they're like looking at the stars together at this campground. And actually, like, low-key looks like the place that Tigger shot that music video. It really does, yeah. Anyways,
they're sitting there being cute, covered in blood. Cute.
It turns out the actors also like each other, and then we get an actor confession. We get a real confession. They've been fanganae, and then they're fans, and then we get to see like the whole behind the scenes / making of this like spooky horror show that we watched.
And it turns out the girl IRL is not homophobic.
No, she's like, not homophobic. She's a shipper. Yeah, she's super excited. She ships it, and then that was the show.
And then the episode ends, and I'm like, what just happened to me?
I don't know what happened to me. Honestly, it's excellent.
The roller coaster of emotions that I felt. The
writing?
Genius.
Everything about this was so good.
They killed it.
My God.
Counter Turbo.
Counter Turbo.
Never leave us.
They need another series.
They really do.
My God.
Counter is killing it.
Just
in everything.
Oh my God.
I really feel like here's the interesting part about Counter Turbo. Counter Turbo has existed long before their series existed, and they will exist long after. Counter and Turbo are the type of people that, like, as humans, as real people, are like on a pedestal, but in series, just like Sia, they become the character that they're playing.
Yeah, I never once was like, wow, Counter. I was like, Tale, what the hell? Although then, like, Counter. Yeah.
They killed it. I can't wait to see what Counter Turbo do next.
Truly.
My mind is still blown.
Me too. Now that I've like gone through that whole thing, I'm like,
relived it. It's triggering. All of it. Just count as a human is triggering to me, honestly.
I'm like still shook up by the twist. Yeah. This has been Let's Talk BL. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow all things Let's Talk BL at Let's Talk BL.